Michael Santana streams League of Legends to almost 20,000 viewers every day. He's on a self-motivated quest to become the best AD carry in North America.
You guys want me to add a little bit of the Flame Arena? You guys suck. There we go. A light peppering, dude.
He makes over $1.5 million every year from the comfort of his own living room, alongside his trusty sidekicks, Smallcat and Mellow.
I love League of Legends! I love League of Legends!
He's a cutie pie, and this is his story.
I'm a cutie pie here, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gents. What do people say to make like funny jokes?
Michael I'm a Cutie Pie Santana's professional League of Legends career started in 2011, right around the time that the LCS was being formed. He was recruited by William Scarra Lee to join his team Rock Solid as their starting AD carry. Soon after they formed, the team finished 4th at the National ESL Premier League in 2011 and were picked up by Dignitas. Dig's initial lineup consisted of Voyboy in the top lane, Jat in the jungle, Scarra in the mid lane, and I'm a Cutie Pie and Locust in the bot lane. Their first event under the Dignitas banner was a massive success, as they defeated Curse Gaming, CLG, and Epic Gamer to win IGN Premier League Season 3.
Could be it for Epic. Dyrus going down quite quickly, double kill, and it's going to be a takedown there. The mid turret is gone. They will be able to go straight for these Nexus turrets, and it looks like they may be able to take the game right clean out of the hands of Epic, who came out with the first awesome game. The surrender comes out from Epic, and Dignitas will be able to take IPL 3 Origins as your champions.
The win helped establish Dig as a legitimate contender in North American League of Legends. This was a time when NA's competitive League of Legends scene was a far cry from the structured franchise league it is today. To compete at the highest level, teams had to drop the rest of their responsibilities and devote their lives to the game in order to become relevant. And often unsuccessful trips to tournaments were a net loss financially.
So initially it was really a gamble because a lot of us were doing it out of passion and there was actually almost no revenue streams. So there was a point in time where it cost more to travel to Cologne for ESL's events than it did to win 3rd place. So you had to place 2nd or 1st to actually get your money back for traveling like all the way from North America to Cologne.
So when Dig bowed out of IEM New York's 2012 group stage, it was a big deal.
Now they're going to jump in for some more. Jat will fall. Lammy is still alive. Wow, doing so much damage. Kills Scarra on the platform.
Oh, no.
And Fnatic will go 3-0 in the group. They are definitely moving on to the next day. And like I said, they do it on LAN all day, every day. Fnatic looking strong today.
Dignitas saw Season 2 as an opportunity to become a force in the scene. They placed 3rd at IEM Kiev, which helped them qualify for the IEM 6 World Championship, where they lost to Moscow 5 in the finals. Cutie's performance in Kiev was impressive, posting a 4.17 KDA while averaging 4.88 kills per game throughout the tournament.
Cutie Pie's been charmed. Whoa! Oh my gosh, the damage up.
The damage a little bit. Facet, they're going to dive towards PK. PK's going to surely get caught out. He will do. Goes down in amongst his Shushe, also taken down, and that has gone very badly.
Scarra staying behind his tanks, doing a very nice job of poisoning and just miasma and everything, and they're just systematically taking out Fnatic.
Kite away the damage, and I think Cutie Pie may well get the kill on towards Genja here. He's trying to lifesteal through it. Will manage to take him down. Flash through Cutie Pie.
Aside from I'm a Cutie Pie's stable presence in the bot lane, Team Dignitas' roster was a bit of a revolving door. Jat stepped down late in 2011 and was replaced with IWDominate early in 2012. SCRIMS was picked up to fill the hole left in the top lane by Voyboy's departure. Throughout his career, I'm a Cutie Pie was one of the only members of Dignitas that wasn't in and out of the lineup, and acted as a stabilizing presence for a lineup that was constantly in flux. Team Dignitas were still finding themselves as a team at the end of Season 2 and into 2013. IWDominate left and SCRIMS went back to the jungle, while Kiwikid was signed on to be the team's new top laner. That core, along with PewDiePie, would eventually become the team's backbone ahead of the North American LCS's inaugural season.
Season 3 for me is the first step that Riot takes to make this game be like a real sport. And so there will be a lot of eyes on this first season.
The creation of the North American League of Legends Championship Series saw 8 teams from the region compete in a structured league that was loosely modeled off of traditional sports leagues.
Ladies and gentlemen, today is the day, the official start of the League of Legends Championship Series. This is a groundbreaking moment in league history as 8 North American teams take their first steps on the way to the Summoners Cup.
For PewDiePie, the NA LCS was a chance to prove himself among the region's best players every week. In the beginning, the LCS didn't have an identity, and each of the 8 participating teams were quite different from one another. You had the likes of Counter Logic Gaming and Team Solomid, established organizations that had amassed massive fan bases, and teams like Vulcan, who were new to the scene and looking to make a name for themselves. And then there was Dignitas, who were somewhere in the middle, sometimes goofing around.
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away, but now I need something that seems to stay.
Sometimes wowing on stage.
This could be the final push. Dignitas takes game 2 and puts themselves into the Season 3 Championship Series.
Dignitas were the LCS team that most resembled a bunch of friends who were just hanging out and playing League of Legends at an extremely high level.
After taking Baron, Dignitas would push their way to the Nexus with little resistance. They became the first team in the LCS to defeat Curse, snapping their 8-game winning streak.
There we go, they killed the Nexus and Dignitas have ended Curse's undefeated streak.
You guys smile so much, like you're such a happy team. Is that one of the reasons you've been able to come around with this like awesome win streak, because you guys get along so well?
Dignitas started their LCS run with a whopping 16-5 record in their first 21 games of the spring split. And PewDiePie proved that he was a top-tier North American AD carry. He was the second in the league in KDA behind Sneaky, and his CS average was second only to Doublelift. Dig stumbled at the end of the season, going 1-6 in their final 7 games, to finish the season with a 17-11 overall record.
Coming up on the backside, it looks like they'll be able to take down the Nexus as well. CLG will be able to take down Dignitas in Game 6 of Super Week Wednesday.
They were then immediately booted from the playoffs by Good Game University.
Evaporated right now, down to 300 health. Nintendo withers him again, but they go for the Nexus. They get it. Don't Mash Me's unstoppable, and the Nexus goes down. GG beats Dignitas in the playoff.
The team's volatility continued into the summer split, where they started the season 6-2, but finished 13-15, narrowly avoiding relegation. Heading into the 2014 season, Kiwikid moved from top lane to support, and the team signed Cruiser the Bruiser. This move marked an important moment in Imaqtpie's career and was the peak of Cutie's competitive prowess as a North American AD carry.
I mean, as like bad as it is to say I'm never worried about any team, like I know if I just like play my game, like I'm better than them.
Oh, that top lane is very hard.
But there's a big wave here.
Ooh, that's the flash and the headbutt back, but they get a good push. Kiwikid comes in from the backside, and this is the Requiem strategy, trying to get the kill down, but they're able to turn it back. No, Kiwikid lives in this one. SCRIMS gets the kill. The first blood going over to him. Now PewDiePie gets a kill, but Nian turns it back around. It's 2v1 on Nian. Will he be able to get one more kill with the ultimate going off? It's not going to be enough. The double kill for PewDiePie.
At this time, Dignitas was actually looking to get rid of Kiwi from the roster entirely.
The original plan was to just remove him from the team completely, but I'd actually asked our manager to keep Kiwi on the team, to make him my support. Like, I took Kiwi from top lane, barely playing support, into the support that he is now, and honestly, I think he became a great support.
2014 saw more of the same from Dignitas. The team finished 12-16 during the season, placing 4th overall. The year was marred by roster shuffling as both Shifter and Zion Spartan joined the team, while Scarra popped in and out of the lineup. Dignitas would take 5th place in the playoffs.
It's like we've always had problems with the team that have like stopped us from being like as good as we could be. Like I honestly feel like the people we have, we could be the best. It's just our mentality is terrible.
It turns out when you're competing on a national stage with 4 of your best friends and everyone gets along, complacency can set in. And it's that complacency that Imaqtpie would eventually capture as his on-stream persona.
But I just pop the fuck up! Leash, I pop the
That's right, QtPie was able to make not giving a crap a full-time, dedicated, and lucrative business.
You shouldn't feel intimidated because it's called the Big Dick Club, dude. Because everyone's got a big dick right here in their heart.
Gee, that's the worst lie I've ever heard.
But professionally, QT understood that the LCS was going through a transition.
I wasn't meshing well with the scene, with where it was going, because when I got into League, it was completely different than how it is now.
More money was flowing into the league, and the pressure for teams to perform was greater than ever. Organizations began to tinker with their rosters in search of more wins, breaking up their stalwart players in favor of super teams. This is something QT quickly realized he couldn't be a part of. If he couldn't play with his friends, he couldn't play in the LCS.
I love this team. I fucking couldn't stand if we got anyone else or if I was on another team, because Jesus Christ, fucking people. Like, this team's great. I love them. That's why I want this to work.
In October 2014, Imaqtpie announced that he would not be re-signing with Dignitas.
So for me, League has always been something that's just super fun. I am competitive by nature, definitely, and I always strive to do my best to win. But I never had it in me to cut players for underperforming and things like that.
QT knew he still had the competitive drive to play, so he took that drive and put it towards his stream. Since making the jump from the LCS stage to his living room chair, QT has embraced the lackadaisical attitude he criticized Dignitas for and adopted it into his personal streaming brand. He was always known for his charismatic approach to the game, even on stage, and now he's turned that attitude into a day job. Watching QT stream is an 8-hour-long amalgamation of professionalism.
You know, people were telling me, QtPie, I don't think your stream is professional enough. I'm gonna wear a suit every day I stream now.
And self-deprecating humor.
Oh my fucking god, I missed that. Oh, I'm so trash. He's gonna kill them both. And he's gonna hit level 6 off that and kill me, right? Yep. That's the standard play right there.
He pulls your emotions in 2 directions. First, he reels you in with his staggering streaming consistency, huge viewership numbers, and high solo queue skill level. Then, he keeps you coming back for his random tantrum-like outbursts and fun first approach to playing League of Legends.
Everyone's failed one time or another. I'm gonna let you in on a secret, dude. This is between me and you. I've failed too. And you know what? That hasn't stopped me. This failure is only the beginning to the end. That is success.
Bitch! Sit the fuck down.
Oh, he's out. Because that's what a man's gotta do, Tim. Come on, man. That's what a man does. What a man does is he handles his business. It's me! Fucking Twitch, Dan. Don't talk about it, be about it, Tim. You know what I'm saying. Tim knows what I'm talking about.
You got pranked, bro.
Imaqtpie, 0 talk, all action. That's why Imaqtpie is heralded as the greatest.
QT takes every classic nerd stereotype and wields them as a means to his success. His ungroomed aesthetic and everyday outfit of basketball shorts and a white tee make him look more like the person your parents warned you you'd become if you didn't give up gaming than a millionaire.
Oh, hey, you scared me.
What's most interesting is how self-aware he is about all of this. What best exemplifies this is his ongoing virtual feud with Team Liquid's Doublelift.
Michael Santana. Holy fuck. Huge fan.
Cutie has routinely flamed NA's most famous pro AD carry, challenged him, and claimed that he is the superior player.
Do I have a retort?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea what to say. I Kiwikid every time I see him on solo queue.
He can't even stand up to me, man.
I Kiwikid every time I see him on solo queue.
He said he beats me! Me! In solo queue? You don't beat me in solo queue, dude.
I Kiwikid every time I see him on solo queue.
This David versus Goliath style feud shows just how relevant Cutie is to the League of Legends community. The joke has reached as far as the LCS stage and stokes the fires of Twitch chat whenever Doublelift competes.
I've heard some rumors going around that the real reason that you are back in the North American LCS is to avoid running into Cutie in solo queue. Can you provide me with whether or not there's any truth to that?
Dude, I was ranked higher than Cutie for like 5 months. And the one time that he's higher ranked than me, he like has to rub it in my face. But no, Cutie is boosted garbage. So.
Even 4 years after his last LCS game, Cutie's popularity still rivals some of the game's best.
Smart kid, what are you meowing about?
It's been almost 4 years since Imaqtpie left Dignitas. In that time, he's accrued more viewership on Twitch than any other League of Legends streamer. He streams to almost 20,000 viewers each day, around 50 hours a week, and has more than 2 million followers. Cutie did make a short return to the Rift in professional League of Legends with Delta Fox in the summer of 2017. The team was comprised of 5 notable streaming personalities and competed in the NA Challenger Series as a subsidiary of LCS team Echo Fox. Imaqtpie, Scarra, Dyrus, Voyboy, and Shifter made up a team full of old guard LCS pros who were apparently taking this project seriously.
Look, you can't argue that the talent of those players.
Yeah, you want to go for this thresh? I'm good for
No way. Wait, that was awful.
In the past has been some of the best players in the game now coming back together to dust off their competitive skills.
Where's the jump pressure? Dude, come on.
Oh,
man.
bop him! Woo! Get him! No! Holy moly. This one's ain't looking so hot.
That was the first thing that came with ease, I think, for them was the competitive side of wanting to win.
Alright, hit him.
Oh, nice. Okay. Wait, you got us all killed.
And the record may not show it, but I have to think that across the board, it has reignited their competitive fires.
Scarra, invade their jungle, dude. Do something. I need pressure. Fuck.
God, these games they're starting to come together a lot.
Unfortunately, the meme stream dream team, as they called themselves, didn't secure a game win during the entire split they competed in Challenger. It definitely didn't help that they fielded a team with 3 players who were primarily mid laners. All their games were fairly similar. Each player would often win their lane, and then Delta Fox would just get buried by their opponent's superior teamwork. In a lot of ways, the Delta Fox experiment was quintessential Cutie Pie. They were a team of solid players, but they didn't treat the team seriously enough to even win a single game. Just as soon as it started, the Delta Fox experiment finished in winless fashion. It was back to the day-to-day streaming grind for Cutie and his loyal subscribers. He's arguably more famous than some of the best LCS players in the world, commands more attention, and lives a more relaxed lifestyle. Cutie's popularity shows the breadth of the esports community and how game-adjacent personalities like him can flourish with the right brand, tone, and work ethic, which is the ever-constant paradigm with Cutie. He's a hardworking, self-made millionaire whose primary means of making money is acting like he doesn't care about anything but having fun all day long.
Let's go, dude.
According to a March 2017 article from Rolling Stone, Imaqtpie's streaming career generates more than $2 million per year in revenue. All that said, the pro lifestyle has changed a lot since Cuty's Dignitas days. We've surpassed the era where a team could attend a tournament and come home losing money. In the new, franchised iteration of the NA LCS, many pro players make a livable wage, and they're surrounded by staff whose job it is to take care of them and their health. Imaqtpie left the wild west of the early days of League of Legends for the comfort of his living room gaming setup and a whole lot of money.
Fuck yeah, that's why I'm the best. That's why they pay me the big bucks, baby. That's why Riot Games pays me to play their champions live on stream. Cause they know I'll make it look good, dude.
But since his departure, the Wild West has undergone a major facelift, which begs the question, did Qtpie leave some potential out on the Rift? Cutie was even dethroned from his hard lock at the top of League of Legends independent streaming charts. Tyler1 has been unbanned from the game and has made waves in his return to streaming. On January 8th, Tyler1 dismantled Faker's all-time individual League of Legends streaming record with more than 380,000 concurrent viewers. He finished the month with more viewership than Cutie. Maybe Cutie could have continued playing pro and dominated LCS bot lanes like he always wanted, but his transition to streaming has definitely worked out well for him. The only thing we know for sure is that whatever choice was wisest, Cutie doesn't care.
Bye!
Thanks for watching. If you want more great content just like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button.